MightyMai episode 10. Let's go.
Yeah. You see a man like me, man, I'm out of control. Won't do what I'm told, I'm doing the most. Back from the living, I'm killing them dead, leaving them red. The message, I got it, I heard what you said, but I don't care no more, nigga. Open the door, I won't knock no more, jigger. Open the door, bang, I'm here to do things. Run it like Hussein Bolt, killing the game, the only way to promote. You see a man like me, man, I'm out of control. Won't do what I'm told, I'm doing the most. I'm on the road in beast mode, I need dough. I bake it and break bread with you too. Invest in me like I invest in you. Yeah, I'm pulling up, I'm in the vestibule. Getting money round here, staking tokens. Yeah, it's sunny round here, smoke is potent. And it's gully down here, I thought I told him. Don't act funny round here unless you holding. Getting money round here, staking tokens. Yeah, it's sunny round here, smoke is potent. And it's gully down here, I thought I told him. Don't act funny round here unless you hold. Hey, big visions, big missions, I'm big business. Hey, let's get it. Meal tickets with big digits. Oh, listen, no jigger, no big pimpin'. Hey, ambition, much greater than opposition. Whoa, it's my world, digital, my world. Yeah, 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 word is bond, homie. I got the fire on me. Tell the truth, don't go lying on me. Yeah, word is bond, homie. I got the fire on me. Tell the truth, don't go lying on me, lying on me. Getting money round here, staking tokens. Yeah, it's sunny round here, smoke is potent. And it's gully down here, I thought I told him. Don't act funny round here unless you holding. Getting money round here, staking tokens. Yeah, it's sunny round here, smoke is potent. And it's gully down here, I thought I told him. Don't act funny round here unless you holding.
Fire. What a track to start this week. Such energy. So tonight we're again with Maiworld and Connie Digital to talk about music, NFTs and blockchain in general, to make a little debrief of this week. And so welcome guys, and happy to be here right now on Token Smart Live. Shout out to Token Smart as well.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to Token Smart. Shout out to Easy. I see you in the chat, man.
Yeah.
That was a world premiere right there. Everybody in the chat needs to understand. Like that was the first time anybody's heard that joint.
Yeah, exactly. And so to resume, this is a collaboration between Connie Digital and you, Maiworld, that is about to be released tomorrow, I believe, on Audius, right? Digital.
Well, good question. I think we're going to push it back till Friday. But yeah, everybody here got a sneak peek, first listen to Staking, produced by Maiworld, written and recorded by myself. But full song should be on Audius on Friday.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
I mean, shit. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I'm the one who fucked up the pushing back of the date. I'm pretty sure. I didn't know. I thought we were doing it on Friday, and I tweeted last week. I was like, "Oh, next Friday we're dropping it," and then he was like, hit me, and you hit me, and I was like, and you were like, "Hey, dude, next Friday?" I was like, "What?" And you're like, "That's we didn't really decide yet," but I was like, "I guess that's cool." I was like, "Oh shit!" So.
I mean, scheduling in the metaverse is pretty, subjective thing. And so, any day is the right day. And it's more or less this day, and it's fine for everyone. The only thing we want is to hear it in the end, and it's going to come this week. So, and you hear it first on the MightyMai podcast, and thank you for that. That raised the energy for at the top level to start the talks. And absolutely, I love this track particularly. I love to see you guys collaborate as well, and I wish to look forward the next things, because this one is like big in energy, and so I just think that it's only getting started, and that you're guys are just heating up. No, I don't know if it's the right expression, but
no, I feel it.
You just start the engine.
100%, yeah. What's cool about Connie is, and I'll let you speak on this too, is I make a lot of make a lot of different shit, and when I produce, and sometimes I make those types of beats that they're just like so hard. I'm like, I don't know who's gonna get on this, and I sent Connie a few, and he just fucking matches that energy so well. So it's a match made in heaven for those. So you can definitely expect a few more of those because we got a few more in the chamber, but I don't want to tease too much.
And yeah,
I know that you guys got some shit too. We actually all got some collab shit.
Yeah, man, we're all out here working, man. We myself and Mighty 33 have something coming towards the end of April, and yeah, me and you, Maiworld, we have like 4, 5, 6 songs at this point, but Staking is definitely the first one we're putting out there. And man, that beat, when I first heard that beat, it was so hard. I was like, I have to get on this track. Like nobody else is getting on this but me. Like I had to make that happen. So shout out to you, man.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, and you killed it. Absolutely.
Right on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Mighty.
Yeah. I thought.
What happened?
What happened this week?
What happened this week?
What happened? Not much. You know, the common things of you know, the big waves, the big news from the previous weeks are still going on, and we didn't had like a big crushing news, you know, that disrupt the space. But I think we've heard rumors that there will be some soon. So we are pretty, patient and curious for those here. And what I feel is that during the past week, everyone was grinding very hard and, kind of focused on moving things on, technologically, creatively, on the various sides. I saw a lot of interaction between artists and such. But everyone pretty focused right now on creating or building something. So yeah, I don't know about you guys. How you felt these past days?
Like I feel you on that. I feel like that's kind of the vibe right now. Is everybody, we've had that spark of mainstream tickle from everybody, with all the big names getting in and out. But it seems like that's kind of dying down in the sense that people are now like, okay, we're here. So I think a lot of people are just like head down working, like like Easy just said, yeah, just fucking making it happen right now. So I'm excited to see what happens in a few months. I'm sure that we're gonna see a lot of cool projects come out, but a lot of stuff to see. There's a lot of cool ominous tweets this week. I think that would be cool. I'll send you those privately so we can share them. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Digital? What do you think?
The past few days have been a lot quieter than it has been in the recent history, as far as like, the Beeple drop friggin' $69 million in the headlines everywhere that made, and just the mainstream push with Mark Cuban and Gary Vee and a lot of the Paris Hilton, a lot of the celebrities coming in. I feel like things have kind of quieted down the past couple of days, but maybe that does signal that people are head down working and, actually building utility for some of these NFTs instead of just looking for a quick cash grab. So yeah, man, I'm excited for a lot of projects to launch. I think Block Party, which is a new NFT marketplace, is launching tomorrow with their version 2. So I'm excited for that. I'm going to check that out tomorrow.
Okay, that sounds dope. And that's an interesting topic too, because you have such a, we can maybe even get into like, not to like completely show our cards here, but I don't think any of us really know how this is going to go. But in terms of like what the format is, but Connie, being that you are legitimately maybe the OG of audio NFTs. I mean, I'm pretty fucking uneducated, but as we know, you are the OG in this space. So what is your perspective right now? As you just said, you were like, hopefully people stop just trying to look at this as like a money grab and stuff like that. Do you think that where do you personally maybe see some things going in the coming months, even not even in a year, but like where do you see the next evolvement in music NFTs?
Oh, music NFTs specifically. Yeah, so I'm excited by projects like Catalog. If anybody's familiar with that, the website is catalog.works, and it's basically a NFT music platform built on top of the Zora protocol. And they just recently launched back on March 9th with a handful, I think like 20 artists to start. But it's basically 101 NFTs of songs that essentially people can collect. So I'm excited to actually participate and put something up on their platform and see how that all works. But also, I think maybe last week as well, Async put out a tweet that they're getting into the music game as well. So programmable music is coming. That's going to be a thing, and I think that's going to shake up a lot of what's been going on in the NFT music space for a good thing. I think it's going to be positive. I think a lot of people are going to realize they can do so much more with this blockchain technology as far as programming music as NFTs. So yeah, I'm excited for that. What about you, Mighty? What do you think?
I mean, for me, this week has been, pretty mental in the sense of taking a step back, meditating on, the energy from the previous weeks that was really, really intense. And I absolutely had a blast talking with Panther Modern last week. And it was like, after the show, I felt like it was, kind of too intense and that I had to, process all the information. And I feel you when you say that this week has been more quiet, but I feel like it's more like the blockchain people, the metaverse culture. Everyone went into their headquarters to work twice harder to some kind, like to answer the mainstream wave. Like to find a way to innovate even more, to to balance the power of not being wrecked. So it was a lot of philosophy, trying to put things together, see the big picture, try to project in time about what it's going to happen, or kind of speculate on the different dynamics that are pretty coming from here and there. I would say the metaverse again versus the mainstream. And I've noted the different topics that I think we can investigate together around what really happened, what is really happening, and what will happen, to kind of dive deeper into the phenomenon. So I've noted a few, but that's my sentiment.
Well, speaking of the traditional, I've noticed, and maybe this isn't new news, but this is something that I've noticed recently, and it seems like there's more of these big platforms like Snapchat, of course TikTok, and YouTube. I just noticed today they seem to all be giving. There's definitely more money that they're giving out to their creators now, and I don't think that that's by coincidence. I think they're seeing that this world is emerging, and that if people get smart enough before they do, that we're going to be able to monetize our own creations our own way. And that's kind of what the whole premise of like all of this technology can do for independent creators. But when you see stuff like YouTube now, you can become a member to certain people's channels, and that gives you additional access to different things. Like you can use the chat when they're live. There's additional content. So it's like, I'm curious how this is going to impact the world that's being built here, and if we're going to be able to compete with it. Because if they do start giving out more money to independent creators, it will slow the progression, I think, and slow the adoption of creators getting into this space to monetize their own funnels. They're and completely own the whole path. So it's just something I noticed recently. But what do you guys think about that?
Mm-hmm. Digital, if you want to go.
Yeah.
Whoever.
Yeah, I was going to say, I did not notice that per se, but that is interesting. I don't think these platforms increasing what they're paying out is going to slow down the Web3 adoption at all. I think that the creators should be getting paid more than what they're being paid right now on Web2 anyway. I think that's a great thing. But when people start to realize they don't actually need these platforms to earn a living and to make an income, more and more people are going to rush into Web3. Like, as an example, I just put out an article yesterday on 1:37 p.m. and I basically was talking about the idea where, like, if your YouTube ad revenue begins to slow down for whatever reason, like what you could do is you could create videos like you normally do, but set them as private and then use something like Mintgate to mint NFTs that unlock that private video only for people who hold your NFT. So now this creates a new revenue stream where people have to buy your NFT to watch an exclusive video, right? So it opens up another avenue for income for these creators. So yeah, man, I think the adoption for Web3 is only going to accelerate, actually.
Yeah, that's very clever. Like, actually not...
I feel like, I mean, the token get NFT thing, that's something that us three have really been playing around with for like the past couple months, just talking about how we can really utilize that, like gating stuff with NFTs. So yeah, I do agree. I think that they're going to attract a different audience. I think that the really independent creators that are really, really, I mean, I think we know that, like, I don't want to generalize, but like, if you're with the shits, if you're smart right now, you're going to know that building in this community is long term probably a better move, because, you know, having any centralized power like YouTube or Snapchat, Twitter, or I don't think, maybe not Twitter, but you know, these platforms that are maybe paying more, yeah, you're right, you're still going to be in their game, and you're not going to be able to own how much per se for like extra content, whereas YouTube, I'm pretty sure that there's like set amounts. I don't think that you can really like charge whatever you want. And I know that, like, for example, OnlyFans was like this. You could at one point pay as much as you want for certain things, and then out of nowhere there was like a moment where I think it was Bella Thorne or someone like broke it, and like basically caused the platform to limit the amount of money that was actually being they limited the amounts that you could give at once to a creator. So it actually really fucked up a lot of like the way that they were making money, because, you know, somebody could tip you $5,000 like during a live, and now you can't do that anymore on OnlyFans. And so that's just one level of an issue with a centralized platform owning it all. So I do agree that, like, ultimately it's going to only go up, but it's you know, it's just going to attract a different type of creator almost, you know, somebody who's really, really self-responsible and for like all their own stuff, and they want to control it all, and they want to make sure that they won't get stopped by a third party.
Yeah, what I find interesting is that as a transition, you know, you're not fully obligated to go 100% blockchain, you know, on day one, and that you can use something like a gating token to, you know, stay on YouTube, but exploit, you know, the private feature to move your economy onto a blockchain-based system, an NFT system, and that is, to me, like a good start for a transition.
Right. And then, you know, like the people who will go the traditional route will definitely be more of your mainstream people anyways. It's like they're the ones that aren't even aware of what's really going on. And like I said, I think the way in which we found this world is not going to be the way in which the mainstream creator in 5 years finds this world and realizes. It'll probably just be incorporated straight up into it. But I mean, yeah, we're just theorizing. Who knows?
Yeah. So yeah, I've kind of theorizing, you know, the main issue between, you know, what between the metaverse culture and the mainstream, and it's for me a kind of battle between ephemeros and perpetuality. You know, where on one side you have the mainstream playing the old tricks of you know, blowing some effects on your mind that will remain permanent, but only in your mind. It's like, you know, what Kanye West said about live shows, where, you know, thousands of people work in a live show to build it, and it's a huge amount of energy, of you know, human power to build such a show, but the day after, all this energy is gone, and the only thing that remains is the effect of the show in people's mind. But here with the blockchain, things remain in people's mind, but it also remains on the blockchain. And so it's like the mainstream is playing the tricks of, trying to keep their effects on our minds versus something that will stay permanent, kind of physically or digitally, if we say on the blockchain, but something that is not only in our minds to live. And so I think this, by essence, will beat, these tricks that they are trying to play on us with their power of kind of propaganda, where, in the end, after the big shock, where people are waking up on the technology, on learning, with the Beeple drops and all the nonsense we've seen in the journalism lately, it's people are into big FOMO, not understanding what's happening, not really, it's all a big mess, and it's kind of I would see it like a trauma, a kind of trauma, where in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, we will have, or the audience in itself will have a kind of a post-traumatic, kind of flashback, and wondering what happened, during that time period that we are living right now. What happened? And I think this post-traumatic, shock later will drive an insane amount of investigation in the blockchain to bring back, the reality, because the tool by itself is, setting a record, and obviously the next generation will totally understand it because they will, live with it from day one. So they will understand the record and the timestamp and the fact that it is, not compromisable. And so they will look back at this today's NFT craze and say what really happened, and what, and probably try to highlight, bring back the truth of what their culture, the real roots of the culture that is theirs are, if you follow me.
Yeah, I follow you. Very choppy, but I caught the last bit of what you said there, Mighty. And I think too, like you said, the blockchain in and of itself is of history of what has happened, and future generations who grow up with this will have actually see what went down, and who helped bring this this new world to life. So,
that will be something that's going to be huge in the future, is having this provability, just in a sense that it exists and you can prove it and nobody can question that. Then I think that's going to be huge. That is true, because there it's like, you're going to want to be able to prove who did what when and all that stuff. And I think that just having that thing there, things so unarguably, I think that's going to create a new level or a new culture of I do think that's an underestimated maybe aspect of it.
As it's cons, right? If you're doing some nefarious sort of whatever, it's going to be publicly, very,
Right.
used with caution and understand the technology that people have to learn. So.
Nah, I feel you though on that. It is definitely a double-edged sword. If you are doing something wrong, you can certainly be figured out a lot easier in a world like that. So, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of like the thing with anything. As we evolve, there's a double-edged sword with learning more almost. You know better now, and when you know better, you kind of got to do better. And so it's just double-edged. So if you want to know, you just got to be able to handle the responsibility of knowing.
Yeah, and I think it's on our
Facts.
part, on our part as well to, while there's all this mess, to constitute the history for those that will be looking for it later in a year or two. So again, I'd like to shout out, the music gang and Studio Nouveau and, you, Connie, Skrilla, Vandal, because I think, all together we are trying to gather all the proofs. I know Studio Nouveau is working on a collection about NFT music history, and it's advancing a lot. And so I think all of those initiatives will be, help for the one for who it matters later on. So it will, easy their task for when they will be, interesting into investing the history about it. But I was wondering, because I saw this comment as well about making a music NFT documentary, and I was curious what you guys would thought about this idea. It's not mine. I'm just relating.
Digital, what do you think? Because I got some thoughts.
Yeah,
because I know Vandal.
I think it's a good.
He's working on a NFT documentary, but more in the NFT sense, not especially music. But I can see how on the music specifically, it can be something interesting to do at some point.
I love the idea.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was going to say about the whole. There's a documentary being made right now specifically about NFT art, but I think something about NFT music only makes sense as well. So, maybe we'll head that up. Where did you first hear about that, Mighty?
It was in this week's. I think it was in some of the Twitter chat. Yeah, it makes sense. In the sense of the music documentaries are always something fascinating for the audience, and when it comes to the hip hop culture or different music history, even on the 60s, 70s and stuff, and it would make sense to continue on this tradition of music documentaries around artists, around cultures, and it wouldn't be better than doing it ourselves, not trying to it can be biased, it has to not be biased too much, but at the same time we are the best position to document and put into it what should be into it.
Right. Yeah, you're right about that. What were you going to say, Maiworld? What was your take on the documentary?
Dude, I think that could be. I think it could be huge for the space for people that aren't involved. Because I think it's almost, you could think of it like a great advertisement for a business that pops off and then basically blows up their whole company. And I kind of see a really well done documentary that really doesn't hype it, but just kind of explains everything in a way that's really, really impactful for just somebody who's not really interested or someone who's not really familiar with anything. But if it was painted in the right light, like a good 30-minute YouTube video that just fucking went viral, I could see something like that going viral, in the right way. But it would have to, the approach would have to be right, It couldn't be like hyping it in the wrong ways. It would just have to be done correctly, which, I mean, I'm not maybe the guy to direct that, but I would love to be a part of it, though. I think that it's a great idea.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we can engage in some conversation to see with others how it can be done. I don't know. But I just wanted to share the information, and I thought it was a good timing to engage on this topic, because it's again about setting who is writing history, and we know the mainstream will write their history, so why won't we go further into writing our own at some point. That's the idea. So that way everyone participates into writing history, and then the audience can make, his choice.
Right. There would be some responsibility in the whoever made that film. It would just have to be, it would, because if it would just be. But then again, hey, if it goes viral for it being terrible, whatever gets people involved, I think. Or whatever would catch people's attention, I guess, is good.
I had
train wrecks too. They watch that.
I had like an other idea that I wanted to share with you, and I thought about it all the week, and I talked to Rogan X because he's a little bit of developing into coding into Ethereum. So I was wondering like how was he able to do something like this? But we both, were blocked at some point because we could not develop this. But so we're throwing the idea out for someone to catch on it. But the feeling was that collections are the new playlists, like the Spotify playlist and all the playlist business. That a wallet can definitely becomes a hype playlist at some point. And so I thought of a website where you just have a paste box, you put in your wallet address, and then it turns into a playlist. It just checks all the music NFTs, and then it turns it into an embedded player, that just turns it into playlist. And that way, this playlist, if someone, I don't know, someone with influence have, great collections of music NFTs, it can become a playlist for an audience. And so
I like that.
So yeah, just a simple tool where you copy paste someone's wallet and it turns into a playlist. That's the idea for anyone to grab.
So I was sitting here thinking about that as you were speaking. It'd be like, there'd be a web page and you can connect your wallet to that actual web page, and then, like you said, it would scan. Maybe you would whitelist certain NFT addresses as far as like collections, and then it kind of scans for MP4, MP3, whatever the file type is, and produces a playlist. That's fucking dope.
Yeah, and you can just take
Somebody build that shit.
Anyone else address. Like for instance, I can take your address, Connie, paste it onto it, and then I have your playlist. And then at some point, playlist can be very valuable, or collections into someone's wallet can, be dedicated to this purpose. So someone would create a wallet to create a playlist. He would collect, curated music on it, and then at some point become the wallet itself become famous, and the wallet address is shared across networks for people to get a listen into this collection. And it has interesting features, because when a wallet address is moving around, shared across networks, there's also this possibility that people send money or support via this way the collection in itself, and reward the curator.
Yeah, no, I like that idea, especially if it would be sick if you could make it so that, say, even like I'm thinking about this for myself, it's like, you could have 26 songs, for example, I don't know, and you just throw them all throughout a metaverse, and you make them all NFTs all throughout this world. And essentially what you have to do is you can collect them, and then as you collect them, you have another NFT that then holds all of those NFTs, and you can essentially start to create your own playlist with this NFT that you're like filling up with all of these NFTs that you're finding. That would be really cool. And then being able to maybe even mint your own NFT out of those combination of NFTs and create your own album out of a variety of songs. Yeah. So it's like the same thing. I'm just specifying it for, like, say, was one artist, which would be crazy. One album or something.
Yeah, like gamifying the whole collecting aspect. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, maybe something to dabble with. But what else has been going on this week, Mighty? What do we have a topics list by any chance? I mean, not necessary. I'm just curious. Do we?
Not really this week. I mean, I thought that it would be interesting, and we talked about it, Connie, earlier, about a little bit of resuming how we met and kind of debriefing this past year, the feeling and how we got there today. because it was a very interesting, funny story that happened. And so, yeah, we don't really have a topic list this week because, like I said, it was more of different philosophical ideas around what happened. So I did investigate, did some research today, but there was no big headlines, to me. And I have to explain as well that in France you have a different clock where you have summertime and wintertime, and so 3 minutes before the show, everyone was like, "Hey, where are you? The show is starting." And I'm like, "No, the show is in an hour." So I was kind of unprepared for tonight because of this as well. And but yeah, I thought I would take the occasion that we are with Connie tonight to kind of resume the past year together. What do you think?
Yeah, no, that's good. I definitely think there is a delay on my end, which is a little weird, but just gonna have to
Yeah, I
power through
feel
this,
that.
I guess. But yeah, the way we met Mighty was pretty interesting. It was on Twitter, right? And
Mhm.
I think I guess you mentioned me in your tweet where basically you had taken my song "Holding," which was tokenized on Maker's Place back in March 2020, and you put it on a playlist on SoundCloud, like a collaborative sort of, I guess, playlist. You had different artists on there, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" Like, I had no idea who you were. I didn't know how you got the file for my song, why you put it on this mixtape playlist, sort of thing. And yeah, my reaction was very like I didn't like the shit at all, to be honest. I was like,
Mhm.
what is he doing? And so I reached out
Love
to
it,
you.
love
I
it.
sent you a direct message, and we kind of we kind of talked about that shit. And yeah, that's how our relationship started, and it's really amazing to me how far we've come since that time. Like just building on our friendship, our relationship, our collaborations, whether it's musically or in crypto voxels or even on this podcast or whatever we're doing. I really do appreciate the connection that we built, especially given how it started. So yeah, I'm very honored to call you a friend, man. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, likewise, and I'm very honored about it. So I can say the same. And yeah, it was fun, and it was something that was addressed to me many times. That sometimes I move quicker than I should, and without everyone's consent. So I'm working on it a lot, and I'm learning a lot in the blockchain space, thanks to the blockchain space, into it, because I do appreciate good business and respectful business and stuff, but we all have to learn the best ways to do things, and it's very different in the digital world than in the real world, where sometimes things are okay, or you think they are okay, but you don't necessarily always consult everyone, and so because you know each other and stuff. So and I always had this feeling that a musician, whoever he is in the world, would be happy, that someone features his music, and so that's why, at this moment, you were the first artist I discovered, minting music on the blockchain. And just before you, I discovered the whole space through Lulu XXX, and so these were my first contact with the NFT space. But with Lulu, we couldn't engage collaboration in music specifically, and so when I came and discovered that there were music in this field, I was like all excited. And at the same time, with Genius Corp, we were doing this playlist where we were just highlighting geniuses that are not our production, not our talent, but underrated artists that doesn't have big streaming plays, or kind of the best of the underground. And we like this playlist because it's for me always like a good snapshot of a moment or a year. And so naturally, when I heard your music and I made the connection and thought, yeah, I gotta play this music on this playlist. And so combining all those together, I thought like you would be really happy, to be there. And I didn't ask before. So yeah, when I mentioned you, you reached in my DM and just were like, okay, never do that again. Just take my music out right now. And we were kind of in a beef like for a few days. And I think like a few days later, we reach out again and we're like, okay, well, let's talk again. Maybe there was a confusion here, and it's not bad. And we're here for the same thing. Obviously, we're interested in the same things. And so yeah, we started to to talk, and I even collected one of the holding tokens. Even though before I collect, I think that I ripped it from the maker's place to play it in the podcast. So I re-recorded. I didn't have the file. I re-recorded the thing to play it on the podcast. So it's even more, hijacking the whole stuff. But yeah, after came my idea to create this album, because I realized that it was not existing on the blockchain as such yet, and I do appreciate that you mentioned the project on Results podcast, and that you said that it was a collaborative effort, and that is a part of what's important to get involved in the community, because that's really how I looked at it and worked so much for making it happen. Because like I felt the blockchain thing really quick, and when I discovered your music, it was like March or April last year. And I was like, I cannot, jump in that and claim that you are the first or stuff, because it just doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense to me, and I wanted to learn from, the what we call the OGs, like the people that were here before, that can obviously teach you the tech and the techniques, because it's all about experimenting without hurting yourself too much. And so in that way, I cannot thank you enough for protecting me, giving me advice on many levels, so that I cannot burn my wings too much. And yeah, we started to collaborate on this music, and for me, I feel 1 year after that I really feels great about it, but that it was all about building with the community that were already here, with Vandal, with Union Misery, and it's basically all the people I could find that to me were great talents, and at the same time already did the thing, and I was like, okay, I have inspiration to bring something on the table here. But it couldn't be greater than doing it in a collaborative way, in the community spirit of how things are happening here, and how, as well, for me, one of the biggest interest here is to build together, not being alone on your own and selling your NFTs. And it's all about having fun and connecting all together, and have this trust layer where we can have fun making business together, and raise everyone up financially and spiritually. So it really did make a lot of sense to me to do it that way. And it was crazy because a few weeks before we released the album, I noticed that some of from the community were working on the same idea. So I was like, damn, the things have to rush a bit, because I'm not the only one on this planet to have this idea, obviously. I knew it. I was totally aware that it would have happened at some point. And but the thing is how I choose to do it, and because it took more time to make a collaborative effort and coordinate everyone together for the recordings, for the visuals, for everything to come together, and that the competition that started to appear choose easier processes. So I realized they were about to release before me, and I'm giving you a big shout out because it was Jacques and Studio Nouveau, and like I noticed, Jacques was started to tease about an album NFT, and I was like, damn, no. And he did the collaborative effort too. All the visuals were collaboration, and so I really was inspired by what he was doing at the same time, and Studio Nouveau designed the whole project with the they managed to create the whole album themselves. So it was just about it was naturally more efficient and could be able to release quicker than I did. But there's no race here because I'm just kind of analyzing this time frame. But I felt great to see that I was, I felt like I found some friends that were on the same wavelength that I was at the time, and that felt great. So that's as well how we connected with Jacques and Studio Nouveau, and how we met on this path of creating the first albums on the blockchain. In different ways, with experimenting with different techniques and different choices. But yeah, so to come back to end the loop, I really appreciated to highlight this collaborative effort, and I'm very honored and proud that you are part of it, because to me that legitimates kind of the move. As well as making you part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Studio Nouveau. Shout out to Torre. They're doing a lot of great work in the space, for sure. And I'm honored as well, Mighty, to be on Others Die. I think it's a great album. I mean, if nobody has heard it, it's definitely worth a listen several times over. I think it's great. You did fantastic work. Vandal, Unknown Misery, there's a lot of different people on the project. So yeah, man, everybody check that out if you can.
Yeah.
Where you at, man?
What up? Yo, I was just letting you guys vibe out there. You guys are having a moment, reminiscing on the past, which I love.
You can do the interviewer.
I gotta
here.
say too. I think.
I said you can be the interviewer here.
I love it. No, I love it. I was gonna say it's cool that and I know we kind of already all knew these stories, but it's cool that there was a conflict at the beginning of the relationship, and then you guys resolved that conflict, and you guys can probably say it yourselves that when you have conflict resolution, it creates such a better relationship in the long term, and just really in general, you get a deeper connection when you have that type of situation happen, and then you resolve it. So I think it's kind of cool that you let that happened, and then you guys came back together in a great way, and look at us now.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm very excited about.
It's
from that moment where we met and the album release. My goal was only to do this blueprint about how to release a project with using 100% blockchain tools. And so my goal was only to prove that it is possible. And by completing all the releases on different platforms with different advertisement, advertising in virtual worlds, distributing on all the platforms using blockchain, doing the NFTs, and it was all this blueprint. The proof that this blueprint is happening, but from there to me, all my expectation stopped at this point. I mean, sure, I would have expected to have only one sale, just to prove that you can sell something on the blockchain, but I didn't expect it 1% or 0.1 more than what happened to me since 1 year, which is totally beyond. And I'm just letting the universe, I'm accepting that the universe can bring me things beyond my expectations, and that's how I try to balance myself to be as humble as excited, and try to motivate myself to work and grab the opportunities. But I'm totally humble because it's totally beyond me, and I couldn't be more grateful to have spent this year learning and participating in this community and meeting you guys and doing the podcast and doing everything. It was all ideas that I have months before, but I couldn't achieve myself, being isolated.
What's good, Lee? Everybody in the chat fucking popping in. Love it.
Digital, you were about to say something?
Say that. What'd you say?
I thought that Digital had something to say.
Oh yeah, I probably did, but I got distracted. I don't know. Shout out to the chat.
But yeah,
fuck it. Let's get into staking. We could talk about that. That's
yeah, fuck.
Yeah, guys.
That's what we're here for, is it not? So yeah, so shit. I mean, even though we did collaborate on the show, and I'm gonna almost ask questions as if I didn't collaborate on it with you. But my, but so tell us about staking a little bit. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. So staking is clearly named after the idea of staking tokens on a blockchain and earning rewards, earning tokens for doing so. So the chorus of the song actually kind of plays off of that. The idea of staking tokens, getting money, that sort of thing. But the beat itself, the production that you created, Maiworld, is a very up tempo, very like aggressive sort of beat. So while the hook deals with like staking tokens or whatever, like the verse, especially the first verse, it's more aggressive and it's more me kind of like in your face, talking shit. Like when you hear the song, I'm sure we'll play it again before we close out today. But like in the first verse, I'm basically doing a breaking and entering, and I'm I'm basically kicking in the door on Jay-Z, and I'm like, hey man, I'm here. Like you got to step aside, like just metaphorically, like he sits on the throne, but like this is a new wave, a new energy coming in, and it's kind of like, I don't want to say out with the old and in with the new, but it's sort of in that vein. And the idea of supporting Web3 and new artists and new creators and investing in them, so that they can have a lasting impact on the culture and on the world. And so that's kind of the genesis of the song.
That's fire. Yeah, I mean, when I first heard it, I was like, yo, this is fucking mean, dude. Like, this is mean. Like, I love whenever I can just like feel it. It's it was fire. One of the things you said about the hook, staking tokens, and it's just like, you could relate that to anything. It doesn't just have to be about staking. It doesn't have to just be crypto world, because the concept of just staking anything, when you make a decision to like do something, you're ultimately sacrificing some aspect of something. And so, when you stake, you know what I'm saying? It's you get back. You get something back, even if it's not necessarily what you want. But it's just like I think that's cool too. You can relate it to everything. But yeah, I can't remember what I was gonna say about the beat. You said something about it, and I was gonna pop in on it, but fuck it.
Yeah, no, it's very aggressive. It's very mean. I call it mean, but in a good way. It gets me going. It's upbeat, it gets my blood flowing. And like when I first heard it, because my process of writing, I typically open up my notepad and I just start typing. And that's exactly what happened. Like started fucking typing and didn't stop until I had something. And the funny story about the beat, if you want to share that aspect, is
I was just about to say, it's funny that you say that, because I was gonna say, if it wasn't for your speed from the inspiration of writing that beat, it might not have been yours. So that's a funny story. the beat itself of staking, I was sending beat. You know, as if there's any other producers in here, you know the vibes. You put a beat pack together, and if you fucking have to put a beat pack together, you might as well send that to as many people as you fucking want. You know what I'm saying? So I sent that beat pack out to a few different artists, all within the blockchain space, and it just so happened that Vandal actually picked that same exact beat. And it was like a day. It was pretty much within hours of each other. But I remember I told you about it. I was like, hey, you know, my bad. Like we got two people that want this beat, and you're like, no, I already wrote to it. It's done. And I was like,
it reminds me of the story.
And I was like, oh, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Continue. You can continue here.
I was just gonna finish it out. It's just so I had to go back to Vandal and be like, dude, unfortunately, Connie already made it happen, and he doesn't want he wants the beats for himself. He's hungry, and I was like, you got it. So that's a funny ass story in the sense that that beat could have been somebody else's beat if it wasn't for your speed in writing on it. So that's cool that it inspired you enough to basically write. You literally sent me that back within 12 hours. I remember it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, man. Like I don't always feel it, but when I feel it, like I have to act on it, and I'm happy I did. That urgency, that sense of I got to get this done. Like you said, like I went to the studio, I recorded it, I laid down my vocals, had it back to you within 12 hours or whatever. Like here, nobody else is getting on this shit. Like I've done this already. Like
right. You can't argue with that. Can't argue with that. As a producer, I was hyped. I was like, let's go. Oh yeah, my goodness.
No, I said that it reminds me.
Some
Yeah.
mean production. Yeah.
Dude, I appreciate it, bro. Only more to come. Only more to come.
Yeah, the whole production is sick. Yeah, it's I'm really looking forward to hear more and maybe participate. And but it reminded me of the story of our collaboration, upcoming collaboration with Vandal, Boomboxhead, and Connie Digital, where it all started when Boombox released his beat as NFTs, and then I bought the beat and I thought like, okay, maybe it was his idea to for someone who buys the beat to do something with it. So I took it literally, and I was like, okay, maybe I will keep it for later. I buy the beat now, and I will honor his his wheels with this NFT, but I was not rushed at all, so I didn't think about it for a few times, and then when I reached back to Boombox, I was like, hey, I have an idea on this song, and he was like, hey, but Connie and Vandal already do a collaboration on it, and I was like, okay, I don't want to step in the story, and but Boombox invited me and said, no, it's okay, why not we do something all together? And I was like, okay, why not? Well, let's try. And then it happened, and we made the song, all four. But beyond that story, I'm just wondering, when it comes to Web3, how this exclusivity between a beat and between different parts of a music will still be a thing at some point, because we talked already about when let's say Shakira releases songs, you have a remix for every community. You have the reggaeton music, the reggaeton remix, the electro remix, the hip hop dubstep remix, whatever. And all those could be tokenized and be part of the economy. So I'm wondering, when it comes to creators themselves, how will this take place, where you could have this beat, and then we talked as well about the music leaks, the competition between different teams over different songs, but it could happen over the same beat, and like you could have this this instrumental and Vandal could have done his version, it could be tokenized, and Connie could do his version, it can be tokenized, and both versions will have their way into different communities and have their own life. And I'm wondering at which point the exclusivity between, this connection of reserving an instrumental and an a cappella to only one. And I can still understand in the future how this is important for some scarcity and stuff. But I do see happening a whole opening on the economy on this side where it can be open.
Yeah, I was going to say to that point, I think it basically goes back to licensing, right? Because right now, and I think Maiworld, you could probably attest to this as a producer, right? Like there are platforms like BeatStars or SoundClick where basically numerous artists can license a non-exclusive beat, and essentially that, I guess, depending on the terms of the agreement, that could translate over into Web3 where multiple artists are using basically the same production. But then you also have the idea of working directly with a producer one-on-one where there is that exclusivity and nobody else but that particular artist can use that beat, right? They retain those rights. I see a world where both play.
Yeah, what I'm saying is
but
that
I would be interested to hear Maiworld's take on that, seeing as though he is a producer.
Yeah, just before, it's just that I'm saying, this one-on-one will be ripped, and it will be ripped at some point by any who will have, the envy to rip it at some point. And then what I'm seeing is something to prevent to let anyone, to include the ripping natural process into the market.
Yeah, I definitely like it. I mean, there was a lot of information in that past couple minutes, but the part I mean, just seeing like beats be used with NFTs, I think is definitely the future. I mean, I could imagine, a label who puts out a hit song. Like imagine that, what was that song that popped off like last year or 2 years ago? It was Old Town Road. What was there, like 13 fucking remixes of that song?
Yeah.
I mean, you could have, that original song could be an NFT, and then somebody could just buy it and use the stems within it to create their remix, which I think is a sick idea. I mean,
and still
you
credit
could definitely do
the
that.
owners.
But I mean, I don't know if that's exactly what the
Yeah. No,
right.
it.
But I don't know if that was the actual question of what perspective you were looking for.
I just wanted to hear your take on the idea of like non-exclusivity and having multiple artists use the same production.
Oh,
I think
sampling.
It's great for the producer. I mean, as far as like
yeah, definitely. I could definitely see the non-exclusivity part of NFTs, I could definitely see like NFTs helping the non-exclusivity part, especially like the back end. Like once again, it's just shitty to have a third party, the middleman between everything that you're doing. And a lot of those platforms like BeatStars or Track Train or whatever beat website producers are using to sell their beats, I mean, they're so overcrowded that you need to create your own fan base anyways. Otherwise, like you're not gonna get known on the platform. You have to already have the attention, and then they want to go to your page, which exists itself. So it's either way, you're gonna need to collect your own fan base and community and own that. So why not use NFTs where you could set up the smart contract yourself and etc. So
yeah, I was wondering if you have
yeah, is this your space, Connie?
Yeah, I was wondering if you have any plans in virtual worlds, or if you had any inspirations to move forward in whenever it comes to crypto voxels or Decentraland or other lands. Do you work on? Do you have some ideas or opportunities you're working on right now?
regarding the metaverse? Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't realize that was on the actual screen. Okay, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, man. Well, first of all, shout out to you, Mighty, because this build in Crypto Voxels is friggin' amazing. I wanted to talk to you too about maybe redoing the lighting, so maybe we could talk about that offline. But
Sure.
yeah, I do not have any plans right now besides what I have going on in Crypto Voxels. I mean, I have some displays in Decentraland, but I don't actually own enough land in Decentraland to build my own thing. Like I have one parcel, which I mean, you can do something with one parcel in Decentraland, but I would ideally want more than that. But it's pretty fucking expensive
Yeah.
currently. But yeah, Crypto Voxels, this particular build, if I could, what I've been trying to do is buy the parcel next to mine in Crypto Voxels, which is a larger sort of space, and I want to combine the two, but I cannot get a hold of the person who owns it. Like they bought this particular NFT, land NFT years ago. There's no contact information. I searched their username from OpenSea. I can't find them on social. I don't know who this person is, but if I could get that land next door, I would totally want that. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do
The
as
old
well.
bidding for the neighbor's house.
I wanted to buy the parcel, the little island that is right in front of the vinyl shop, and there was a small window to do so, but it closed, and I couldn't, jump on it. But yeah, that's something I'm looking for as well, to have more space to expose more things, and it quickly, sound too small because I feel that we are inspired, and these spaces are filled pretty quickly with our inspiration, and so I feel that we need more space. But yeah, due to the current bull run, the price has exploded a little bit compared to when we went into this world. And so yeah, it's and I can feel how complicated it can be for someone jumping in right now that want to buy a land. So yeah, but I'm curious about the initiative from the music community into these virtual worlds, because some talks are about collective effort to why not do a music district, actually a real one, like owned by the music community, with clubs and stores, and all at the same place. And actually, I don't know if it's something doable if we are not mega rich and able to buy a whole plot with different parcels. But I mean, the workaround would be to create portals in the first place within the music community, but as well, it necessitates a little bit of organization, and allowing some space for it. But I do feel that
I think it's a sick idea.
yeah, it would be great. Like in 4 or 5 years, if we will be the owners of the music place. And I don't know. There's also talks about DAO owning of islands, and something that can be done this way, where I don't know, music island governed by a DAO. I know CryptoVoxels is working on it, and that way that could enable a music community to govern its own island, to to manage business and organize events, and do a lot of activities. So
yeah, I mean, imagine just like if you did own all that, you could get like funding and do like shows on like a Friday, Saturday night, and just have live music like literally all fucking night. Like you could do it like it's Nashville or something, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's
or like,
yeah.
just have it so that there's like, you can go into multiple different places all at the same time, and there's just different bands playing. Like that would be sick.
The Disneyland of
so
music metaverse.
I mean, what's so crazy about that idea to me, man, there must be like a significant lag, because I feel like it is tough to like tell when somebody's talking. No, but my bad. I was just gonna say that it's it would just what's crazy about that idea is like it's so what I believe that idea is possible, but what's bad about that almost to me is like that just shows how much we're gonna live in this digital world more than the real
I
world.
agree.
Not to say that real world won't still have its value, but every real world will probably have its metaverse equivalent at all times. That's something that I believe will be a thing. Like, and people who are out in public will be almost like a different type of person, like, but that everything that's happening live will happen in the metaverse in the future.
Yeah. I mean,
I think the problem is being able to contact
go ahead.
the owners of these particular land NFTs. Like OpenSea, you know, the social aspect is not really there. And unless the person is known in the community, you don't really know who the person is. It's just like an address, like an Ethereum address, like who's that? And then maybe you can trace that to something else, and hopefully you can find a Twitter account that like it's really a mess. But I think that's the hardest challenge, the raising the money, the coming together. Maybe we have to sell NFTs to buy these NFTs, whatever. I think it could be done. I just think the hurdle is finding the people who currently own the music district parcels within crypto voxels, and then kind of like buying them out, which I would be totally down for. I think that's fucking dope.
Yeah, that's something that runs into my mind as well.
You could even have all of this in a contract, in like a smart contract. I was gonna say you could put it in a smart contract for like for people who want to basically know that we're going to be actually doing something where we're actually making, or we're actually putting on shows every week, and we could like come up with our own like schedule for events every week, and that could like entice people to actually want to become a part of it and invest in those types of things. I mean, it's something I could definitely see Whale being a part of. I could see Whale being interested in the idea of, you know, hey, let's take over a whole block, and every Friday, Saturday night, or every Thursday, Friday night, whatever, you know, 2-3 nights a week, and we just go crazy with all kinds of music, and you know, we just get bigger name, we get well-known people, and we get the whole community to want to be a part of it. I think it could be a really cool thing, and I think it could be beneficial to everybody that is involved. So I could see it definitely work.
Yeah, shout out to Lil Siri that you know, is instigating this idea all around as well.
Like you said, the Whale community would be perfect to kind of like pitch that idea to. I know Whale Shark was doing something in the music district with a lot of money, and I think Vandal from Dow Records, and maybe somebody else. They started doing something back in 2019, 2020, something like that. I'm not sure what came of it, but there's so much land in the music districts that it's just not being used part. So so much opportunity.
Let's see here. Like, let's get to know Connie Digital just on a little bit. So music, and who was your favorite artist growing up?
Oh wow. Okay, good question. Yeah, so I started like writing music probably like middle school, and I remember Fabulous. I remember Fab had came out, and like his flow, his style. Besides Fab, I was a huge Lil Wayne fan back when like Lil Wayne, Carter 3 maybe, like The Drought, No Ceilings 2, No Ceilings the original, like shit like that, like mixtape Wheezy. I remember having like old school Cash Money CDs. Actually, I think the Cash Money CD might have been the first CD I purchased, called Hot Boys. It was a Hot Boys record. But yeah, you know, I'm totally inspired by not just hip hop, but like reggae. I love Bob Marley. I love Stephen Marley, the whole Marley family. But I listen to all types of stuff. I like pop. I like rock. I like country. I like anything that sonically sounds good and kind of resonates with me. But
well, that's dope. Yeah. And when did you kind of translate that that love and passion for all those types of music into creating your own? When did that first happen?
Yeah, so like I said, like when I was around 12, I started writing. And then I remember I tried to record. I had like a stick mic, if anybody knows what those are. This was like way back in the day, and I had no idea what the fuck I was doing as far as recording myself. But I remember my friend would always come over after school, and we would just try shit. But yeah, I didn't actually get into a studio until I was about 18 or so. And actually, I went to college for fashion, and I ended up dropping out. but I spent a lot of my time writing and recording music more than I was creating clothing. So it's a fun tidbit.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
When did you feel like you were like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna take this serious? How long did that take?
I don't know. That's a really good question. I think for me, I started to learn the business side of it, and to be honest, a lot of it felt very overwhelming and daunting. Like, you always hear the story about artists being like raped as far as like their contracts and being signed and what that actually meant and being in debt to the labels and all that. And honestly, I think when I started to learn the business side of things, I kind of got a little discouraged. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing either. I didn't understand promotion. I didn't understand marketing. I didn't understand a lot of aspects of music. But yeah, for me though, NFTs kind of unlocked something in me in the sense that I felt like this sense of ownership, this idea of, well, Web3. We all understand what NFTs and music can possibly be, and I think those possibilities is kind of what sparked that energy for me again, where I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna take this seriously and put my shit out there and see what happens. So
Yeah, that's fascinating because that's something that I was wondering this week as well. Like, what was the life of what was Connie Digital before Connie Digital on the blockchain? And yeah, I'm wondering like, what was the point of no return for you to like? I'm wondering, do you hide at some point this mindset where you would think of going into a label, or was that something you ever considered before learning that there was an alternative?
for a while, I was part of a group. Like, I didn't become a solo act until fairly recently. I guess I always had either it was either a duo with another rapper and myself, or I've been in larger groups. Um, yeah, and so we had aspirations of being signed as like a group, which we never clearly got there as far as being signed to any particular label. But yeah, we did have aspirations for doing that. But nowadays, as a solo artist, I don't necessarily know that I would want to be signed per se, unless I'm bringing a lot of leverage to the table and the deal makes a lot of sense for me. And if they want to fund something and there's a way for them to, I don't know, I would have to think about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do feel that, like me, I don't know, I can be wrong, but this is not something you would ever consider again, without fighting to create something, to create this alternative and make it happen.
Yeah, it would have to make a lot of sense to me. I'm just kind of in a position where now, like I'm not money hungry in the sense that people can write a check for whatever, and I'm not necessarily going to be phased because it's not necessarily why I would want to do it. Like, my aspirations is more so I want to inspire and be more of an impact. The money is cool, it's a good after byproduct or whatever, but for me, I would need a label to kind of likeness to the point where I can have that impact. So if there was a situation that would allow me to do that, and it financially makes sense too, then maybe I would consider it.
Yeah, it's always financially. We used to say with my buddies that today labels are just banks to give you loans, and sometimes the deal isn't that cool to do so. And yeah, like you said, with the new alternatives, there will be ways for labels or whoever to invest without those deals, crappy deals. So they can lend you money through decentralized DApp, and that's it. And what I liked to see this week or the previous week when it came to the Taco Bell NFTs, and what I like to see there is something that we speculated on a few months before, that typically this level playing field is just giving the cards again, in that sense where on Rarible or on any minting platform, Taco Bell or any major label just have the same store as yours, and then you become neighbors at best, but it just have the exact same capabilities, and so you just go on Warner Music Rarible or Universal Music Rarible or Taco Bell's Rarible or Connie Digital Rarible. It's everyone is indeed on that aspect on the same on the same field.
It's their connections and their exposure, essentially, where they can put you in your music, right? Where they can expose you in certain publications or certain media outlets and things like that you wouldn't necessarily have access to. Like, that's the value prop that I see from a label currently,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, labels definitely gotta come correct nowadays. There's really even before this world existed, I feel like they knew that they were losing their ability to just completely fuck artists. I mean, still the greatest tool any artist has is just being educated, because it's pretty easy for anybody to educate themselves on the industry and to know what's a good and what's a bad deal. So, I mean, as long as you know what you want, and they know that you're not stupid, which they're always gonna assume you're stupid. And if they don't assume you're stupid, they're gonna assume that they can still slide you with something. And so as long as you're educated, I don't really think that a label will just could a label doesn't have as much power as maybe we give them. It's just our ignorance that allows labels to kind of beat us. But
True.
but either way, I still think that yeah, it would take a lot for a label to entice an artist that's in this space to really want to sign.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine about this. Like, in future contracts, there might be a clause in there where it's we have the rights to tokenize your works. Like, we are the only party that can tokenize your audio as an NFT. Like, and we retain these rights to do, like, selling off your NFT rights. Like, that could be a thing. And it sounds like a terrible situation if you really understand the technology.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that would be. I mean, that's, once again, though, it goes back to like the ignorance of the artist. It's like you just gotta stay as educated as you can. But I mean, it's so new. That's what I mean when it says like the people that are here right now, the people that are in this chat, the people that are listening. There's no doubt that we are going to understand this world from a much different point of view. We are here because we know that this solves problems. Whereas when the mainstream adoption comes, I believe that it will not be the same way. They will know it from the way that it's being sold to them, like anything else. And so, because of that, I just think that it will just add another layer of a level for them to take more profits from artists where they don't see it coming. So we have the advantage because we're here and we know it, but who knows what's really gonna occur when that shift goes mainstream to the point where every label is incorporating it in their deals. I mean, if they split it 50-50, like, there's a lot of ways I could see labels doing this in a good way. Because if you can put me on a bunch of fake playlists and get me a bunch of fake streams, that's great. But can you sell an NFT with the name of your label behind it? That's sick. I'm with that. Let's split it 50-50. I'm all about it. That's like combining with a dope artist. You know what I mean? Like a dope visual artist who has a lot of pull. It's like, it's a good collaborative attempt, but that's the only leverage that they would have at that point. It's just being able to maybe sell your NFTs for more value, all that. So
yeah, definitely, and I think it changed the whole dynamic as well. If every label incorporates Web3, I don't think you can, as a label, see the business world as it was before and apply the same logic here, because if you do, I think you will end pretty much overwhelmed by artists that are just going to work around you and do the stuff on their own and pretty successfully. So yeah, I don't know how a label as we know it will have as definition in the future in this ecosystem.
I was just gonna I feel that I was just gonna pop in and say that we have a community question here for digital. If you if you want to take a smack at this, I'll do a quick reading here. So this is from Ture. I never actually pronounced your name out loud, but I'm gonna say Ture. Studio Nouveau, whatever. Here we go. Clearly, holding is a landmark for music NFTs. You minted earlier. For the NFTs you minted earlier on when you couldn't include the audio but meant to, how do you feel that this fits in history, or this fits historically?
Before you could mint MP4s and MP3s, you could basically only do like a JPEG, a PNG, or GIF, whatever. And yeah, so I did mint some NFTs that were animated GIFs or whatever of like a visual, and then like you could tell that there was supposed to be audio. It's like an equalizer or something going on, but yeah, because of the technology, I couldn't do it at the time. So I don't know necessarily how that fits in historically. It's not clearly not an audio or music NFT. It wanted to be, but it couldn't be. And also, too, those particular songs that you mentioned, When It's Time and Magnetize, those particular songs, I would have to actually speak with the producer before I would even mint them, now that I do have the capability, which is another sort of hurdle. Like, that's why I appreciate working with these two guys, Mighty33 and Maiworld, because they are in this Web3 world and they understand it and they get it. And it's not necessarily a learning curve where I would have to, like, I would want to sit down with the producer and explain certain things, you know, as far as number of editions, the splits, and what have you. But yeah, man, I don't necessarily count those particular NFTs towards like the historical aspect because there's no audio, but you know, I was too early, I guess. A little too early.
But to me, the
Love it. The too early.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I mean, to me, the NFTs with unlockables counts in history, because I think it was the intent to already do something with NFTs and music. Just the capability to put the music file into the token was, you know, a second issue. But that's how in this history I consider, you know, the ones that did unlockables before part of digging, you know, and trying to build this, because they already had the idea. It was the same idea. It was not just possible to include the file, but it was the exact same idea of minting audio files. And so I had, you know, a couple of examples from yeah, we've seen Skrilla on Counterparty. We've seen Robness as well on Ethereum, that were experimenting with Vandal as well, experimented with unlockables. I've seen as well NFT on the Wax blockchain prior to the Ethereum minting thing. So to me, they count as intention in history, but more like the premise. I don't know if premise is a word, but as an epilogue before the actual book starts, and set just the idea that it may be possible, and then you can stepped in at the right time, right place, with the right spirit to grab this together with Vandal and start minting implementing with the platforms this feature. So yeah, that's how I see it. But yeah, exactly. I mean, to me, the account, I couldn't, you know, blind my eyes, because I do see attempt on the blockchain where even though it was in the description, like this token is an image, but it is a music, you know. Even that to me counts, even though there were no music. But it's just funny to see how people, you know, put the puzzle together, and then the story started last year, and here we are today. I see another question. Yeah.
Goo Muck with the question. I am wondering if there is a time limit to audio in an NFT.
Mm, and my answer would be pretty much no, but it's depend on the math you do. There's file size limitations, and if you consider file size limitations, then you can do an MP3 with very yeah. Connie, go ahead.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I don't think that there's a limit to the audio per se, but the longer the audio is, likely the larger the file size will be. And some of these platforms do have file size limitations. Some of them don't necessarily, or some of them have higher file size limitations. But yeah, I mean, yeah, just depends on the file size.
Yeah, you can do a very, very long audio file with a very, very low quality. So, so that way you can have a 4-hour MP3 on the blockchain. And can you loop the?
And I love the questions from the chat room.
Yeah, can you loop the audio? Would make sense to be able to do so. That's interesting because the actual situation is that by default, all the minting platforms has set their visualizers as auto loop, and that from the GIF, the meme culture, that any GIF is displayed as a loop. So when it came to music, the platforms didn't actually realize that it could be a feature to set a visualizer to loop or not. And so by default, all the platform has their visualizers pretty much as auto loop by default. So it to the point where it already influenced how artists are making music, because with this auto loop feature and the NFT being displayed and stuff, it makes sense to create the music as a loop, and then that can be displayed. Because personally, I can listen to a loop NFT for 1 minute or for 30 minutes, and that is a change of paradigm here in how to consume music, because it's not just a song, it's an emotion that can go as long as you want it to. So yeah, I think in the future the platforms will set an additional feature to for the artist choice to display in loop or not. But right now it's in loop pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, they mentioned that they have a 2-hour radio show that's 118 megabytes. I mean, that's not too large for something like Maker's Place. Actually, so one of the audio visual components to the staking song that me and Maiworld created, there is a video that will be tokenizing on Maker's Place on April 5th for anybody who wants to check that out. And that actual video it's a little under 2 minutes, but it's about 118 megabytes. And I've spoken to Maker's Place. They assured me that that file size is okay. They do prefer smaller file sizes, obviously, but apparently 118 will work. So hopefully that might help you out there, Google Muck.
Yeah,
Sorry.
There's a little tease too about some additional things that are going to be coming with some of these drops.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's exciting. I got if you're at all interested, I mean, should we tease what we got in the for additional stuff, or should we not? You kind of teased it, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping.
You're such a tease anyway, right? That's what she said.
Yeah, I'm all.
Go ahead, man. Yeah, let's talk about it. So
shit. Which
Let's
one?
go.
Me or you? We both sewing. So basically, we have Connie and I did an exclusive interview, and we also did a beat breakdown, which actually didn't work right. So we did like a beat breakdown on live, and I went through the whole beat and we talked about the song in depth. But we have to do it again because I for some reason my vocals didn't record, but it's all good. But we have a few things that are gonna come with some of these drops if you get it early. So we'll tease, we'll tease all kinds of parts from it, I'm sure. But yeah, we did it. We had a nice talk. We had a real cool talk about kind of Connie's kind of place in like the history of everything, and just the mentality of at the start, and how it progressed. And I think there's a lot of really cool insight in that conversation. We went kind of deep about some cool stuff, so I think that's going to be cool to see. But it won't be fully out anywhere unless you have the actual I believe I'm not 100% sure how we're going to be gating it, but you'll see snippets. But there's also a beat breakdown and a couple other things. But yeah, it'll be cool.
This was totally your idea too, the idea of creating exclusive content for the drop and using some of this technology that we have now to execute on that, right? So on Maker's Place on April 5th, well, let me step back for a second. On Friday, we're going to release the song fully on Audius. Then on April 5th, we're going to have a drop on Maker's Place with 3 unique MP4s that all are inspired by this actual song, Staking. And then I'm not sure how many editions of those 3 individual MP3s there will be, but whoever owns any of those NFTs will have first listen exclusive access to a podcast that Maiworld and myself did, as well as the beat breakdown, which he just touched on. And, we have plans to, kind of add more content over time. So this is kind of like the beginning of using NFTs for exclusive access to exclusive content. So.
Dude, that is fire. Yeah, I'm excited to share a lot of that stuff. But I'm looking at this fucking GIF that's in the chat. I'm sorry, but that's hilarious. I don't know why I've never seen that. That is crazy, dude. I'd be tweaking. He's lucky that gas can didn't just blow up on his fucking hand. I don't know if anybody else will see it.
It's hilarious. The chat is crazy.
Yeah, thank you everyone in the chat.
We need the interactions. I love it. I love it. Good vibes.
Yeah. Yeah, the token gating.
But yeah, lots of cool stuff. I mean, yeah, I really like the idea of taking.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, there must be such a delay between you and I, Mighty, because every time I talk, I feel like it must come in like 10 seconds later for you. I always feel like I'm cutting you off.
I don't know what's happening actually, but yeah, I do feel it as well, and I'm sorry if it bother the lives, but yeah, we that's how we do.
Oh no worries at all. I was just saying it's just like tricky. But nonetheless, yeah, I love the idea of just experimenting, because who knows, maybe we don't want to token gate everything, and we want to make even more exclusive stuff. Like, I think that getting intimate with artists is going to become more of a thing, and if we can allow ourselves to be vulnerable and just token gate it, for the real artists, or for the real community, the real fans, the people who really want to know you, I think that that's like going to be the future of all creators and all independent anything, because there's a weird entitlement I think we have to people's information right now, and I think that that's slowly changing due to this technology and the ability to token gate or create exclusive content. And we definitely see that. There are plenty of creators out there that have their own platform essentially, where they're token gating content, and it's very successful, like really, really successful. And there's some TikTok people doing it. There's you got people like Logan Paul doing it. You got people like Vitaly doing it, who's doing like more XXX stuff. So it's like there's a lot of it's already happening, but of course you don't hear about it really, because it's for their community and their community only. And I just see that being more of the norm in the future. It's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, so the token gating to me is really interesting in many ways, because it can allow a lot of the gamification aspect we talked about already, by collecting different kind of collection to get access to the actual work, or there's an infinite way of combination you can think of when you add this additional layer on top of NFTs. And if you combine that with the virtual worlds, then yeah, you can pretty much imagine a lot of mechanism that are to be invented, I think. And yeah, so I love to see you experimenting with that. I'm looking at it very closely, and we talked about me getting involved as well in the token gating aspect of things. I'm taking my time, but I'm definitely on it. Yeah, I'm gonna play the song once again. Staking, Connie Digital feat Maiworld.
Yeah. You see a man like me, man, I'm out of control. Won't do what I'm told, I'm doing the most. Back from the living, I'm killing them dead, leaving them red. The message, I got it, I heard what you said, but I don't care no more, nigga. Open the door, I won't knock no more, jigger. Open the door, bang. I'm here to do things, run it like Hussein Bolt. Killing the game, the only way to promote. You see a man like me, man, I'm out of control. Won't do what I'm told, I'm doing the most. I'm on the road in beast mode, I need dough. I bake it and break bread with you too. Invest in me like I invest in you. Yeah, I'm pulling up, I'm in the vestibule. Getting money round here, staking tokens. Yeah, it's sunny round here, smoke is potent. And it's gully down here, I thought I told him. Don't act funny round here unless you hold it. Getting money round here, staking tokens. Yeah, it's sunny round here, smoke is potent. And it's gully down here, I thought I told him. Don't act funny round here unless you hold it. Hey, big visions, big missions, I'm big business. Hey, let's get it. Meal tickets with big digits. Oh, listen, no jigger, no big pimping. Hey, ambition, much greater than opposition. Whoa, it's my world, digital, my world. Yeah, 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 word is bond, homie. I got the fire on me. Tell the truth, don't go lying on me. Yeah, word is bond, homie. I got the fire on me. Tell the truth, don't go lying on me, lying on me. Getting money round here, staking tokens. Yeah, it's sunny round here, smoke is potent. And it's gully down here, I thought I told him. Don't act funny round here unless you hold it. Getting money round here, staking tokens. Yeah, it's sunny round here, smoke is potent. And it's gully down here, I thought I told him. Don't act funny round here unless you hold it.
So Staking to be released this Friday on Audius and on April 5th on Maker's Place with some fancy NFT configurations. I was wondering if you had, if you could talk to us about Cipher, which is Easy is working at it currently, and I was wondering if you had the opportunity to witness the release and the happening of it.
Yeah, I don't know what all I can say, so I won't say too much because it's not my project. But I was lucky enough to test the alpha, and I had an opportunity to get on a call with Easy and Kinshasa from the Cipher Media Project, which is doing tokenized hip hop essentially.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to allow people to record themselves over beats as NFTs and I guess sell them. I mean, I guess that's the simplest way to explain it. Like I said, I don't know what all I I can say. But yeah, I'm super excited for the project. Looking forward to it launching and diving in and being able to create on there. So everybody look out for that for sure.
Yeah, because I've seen it all over the place this past week, and yeah, I couldn't, took time to dive in, but I'm definitely going to look at it. It's all up my alley, and yeah, I would love at some point maybe chat with Easy about it. So when it's more, advanced, and once they're, are on the train and pretty much sorted out with the launch and everything and how it goes. So yeah, I would love to invite Easy to talk about it. The invitation is launched.
Oh yeah, we should do that. We should definitely do that one, either one of these upcoming weeks.
Yeah, and why not play our collaboration with Boomboxhead and Vandal to tease it a little bit as well, because that's definitely of our concerns, and it's chill time. So let's talk. Let's listen to it as well.
Right on.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah.
I get a whole gang of loot. Split the thing with my crew. Ain't a thing, it's all we do. Just get the money, get the loot. Get the money, get the loot. I get a whole gang of loot. Split the thing with my crew. Ain't a thing, it's all we do. Just get the money, get the loot. Get the money, get the loot. You're listening to my market and I'm working on my target, and I never wore a cardigan. When I play the card again, shorty see what car I'm in. Gangaloo, taking off her Daisy Dukes. I got the ace and deuce, play the stoop, paid the shoe. Get the money when it's due. Call me when it's due. I spring up like when winter's through. I cross lines like winners do. Finish lines, I finish mines. I'm not like you, not like no time. It's showtime. Hit a gold mine, that's all we do. Yeah. Digital. Digital, baby. Yeah. Get the money, get the loot. Get the money, get the loot.
Oh shoot, get that loot. Social money, get that cue. Bet that's you. Roll up with a boombox and eject your crew. Tape heads, get that cue. I'm Maxwell, better get that too. Ain't that true? I fast sell like I'm not funging audio. Adios, mi amigos. My gotta go ethos is fly like mosquitoes. We in your ear holes. We're more than just a gang of loot. Biters get a snaggle too. Snapping like a fang or two. Liminal. Yeah. Yeah.
Fixing all the system, banging in the system. Fixing all the system, banging in the system. Fixing all the system, banging in the system. Fixing all the system, banging in the system.
Changing money into pixels. I'ma text to you with quicksels. For you talk all day about Bitcoin like you shot the final 3 points. Change the record, change the loop. Confront with the gang of flu 360 till your golden program isn't shit, your soul is doomed. The meat of the uncorruptible artistic is whether you like it or not. Yeah, as we speak the eggs, it jump off the panopticon like the CIA. We gang the crew, juicy fruit, grab the loot. Number games is how we do. Number games is how we do. Number games is how we do.
Get the money, get the loot. Get the money, get the loot. Get a whole gang of loot. Split the thing with my crew. Ain't a thing, it's all we do.
That's right,
Just get the money, get the loot. Get the money, get the loot. Get a whole gang of loot. Split the thing with my crew. Ain't a thing, it's all we do. Just get the money, get the loot. Get the money, get the loot.
So shout out to Boombox and Vandal. We're pretty excited to release this one. And thanks Gugumak for the show. I do feel that we are doing a crazy show, even if we have some delay issue, and that's the internet, and deal with it. But I think it's the great opportunity to ask you a question with the VR music videos and avatars in the metaverse. I'm curious, what are your vision, both digital and my, about the importance of getting an avatar in virtual worlds and dealing with it with the music, playing around when it comes to music and stuff. So is this something you think about, or yeah?
I love that question. It's a great question. I really do. Ever since I got into this world, I thought that an avatar was possibly the coolest thing to do, but and it's probably the last thing I actually tried to achieve, but it is I think in the future everybody will have an avatar. I mean, dude, everybody's got an Instagram profile.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got a Facebook. Wait until Facebook comes with a fucking virtual version of yourself that you can customize. I mean, and render, and then there's going to be other platforms where you create like a Fortnite-esque character in that style, or a CryptoVoxels world like we're talking about now, or
Mm-hmm.
Decentraland or Sandbox, which are all sick in their own regard, and they all have their different purposes. So I think that I mean, I haven't really done a whole lot of personal thought on creating it right now, but I think it's so important, and I think it could be really, really beneficial to somebody, especially once like NFTs and wearables and things like that are incorporated into these avatars and gives them special abilities, all of that. I think that's going to be huge. You know, imagine like, you know, your avatar only lets you, like, you could buy, like, maybe CryptoVoxels sells, like, the whole CryptoVoxels platform sells like a MP3 or something, or not an MP3, but like an MP3 player, let's say that, and it and you can purchase that NFT, and then you can load up your MP3 player in the CryptoVoxels world with wearables or other NFTs that are specific to that world. And I mean, this is obviously a complete theorization, if that's a word. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's definitely going to only grow in importance. I mean, that's definitely an overlooked aspect right now, but it's going to pop. Eventually, everybody's going to start popping up with their own avatars and all these things, and I think that's going to be huge at some point. But it's going to take these worlds to become more interactive and more useful for an avatar. That's when it's gonna really, really pop, I think.
I mean, I totally agree. There are big players in this space. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Genies, but Genies is kind of like the mainstream pop culture sort of avatar play. They have people like Justin Bieber, Cardi B, big name musicians like this, DJ Khaled. They all have their own Genies, which are essentially 3D avatars. So yeah, it's definitely a thing now, and I think it's going to grow and get larger. You might have different color hair or whatever, kind of like the real world, but in the sense that it's recognizable immediately. You know that's digital, or you know that's Mighty, or you know that's Mai, because you're accustomed to seeing that particular avatar instead of having 4, 5, 6 different versions of yourself. I mean, I don't know which approach is better, but I think having a unified, recognizable avatar is beneficial.
Definitely. And I mean, you know, right now, being that there's so many different platforms that create different avatars, I would imagine that right now the thing that's going to be recognizable is perhaps a color palette, or perhaps like a singular item that you always see that that avatar with, or a certain headdress, or maybe, I don't know, something that is very obvious to them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they'll have their name, right? But that's not the idea of, like, the name follows you, sure, but the avatar, I think, should be easily recognizable as well.
I agree. And I think that, you know, once these worlds incorporate more of a use for having your own avatar and having your own physically or visible representation of your avatar, I think that's all going to be just more and more important. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, really. But shit, what about you, Mighty? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with all you said, and to me it seems like there is this technical barrier where it's not so easy unless, you know, the platforms gives you tools to design your own avatar, or in a sort of uniform way, because right now you can there's a few that gives you this service, but on some platforms you have to totally build your avatar and create your own file. Like in VR chat, you can, you know, bring your own file, but that's not so easy for everyone, especially for musicians that are not necessarily 3D artists, to get or set your own avatar. And but at some point, yeah, once the technical limitation and everything gets more easy to get into it, and the rise, you know, of VR and AR, all combined, will definitely lead to an importance having an avatar as an asset of your brand. And so, yeah, something recognizable as, yeah, a part of your brand or your marketing as a whole, and as well as having, you know, some play where one artist want to do public attendings, so with the the marketing avatar, and sometimes just travel the metaverse, being anonymous, and then having different sorts of avatars for different kind of purposes. And I would like to see those kind of interactions happening in the future, like how artists deal with their marketing avatar and their own persona, just traveling across the metaverse.
Yeah, because maybe sometimes you want to be kind of like
yeah, you don't always
what's
want
the
to
word?
be.
Incognito.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
When do you think they'll make it like GTA, where you can just start fucking killing each other?
Yeah, something like GTA capabilities will definitely bring some interesting things, but we will see it. I mean, when I was a kid, I definitely imagined GTA combined with like Google Maps. So why not combine GTA, Google Maps, and blockchain, and then you're sure that you will be plugged into the digital world and the physical world is over.
That
No,
would
I'm just
be
kidding.
frightening to.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, if you combine Google Earth, GTA, and the metaverse, that's basically the foundation for the parallel world, parallel digital world.
But yeah, hey, we are crushing right now, are we not? 2 hours 15 minutes. We've been chatting it up with Connie Digital. Fucking, this is a great chat. It's a great chat. I mean, let's get some vibes in the chat right now. What are we feeling? 1 out of 10 right now. What's our performance?
It's been 2 hours already.
Yeah, thank you
2
for
hours,
sticking
15
with
minutes.
us tonight, Digital, and sorry everyone for the issues. But yeah, we definitely had some great talks that we wanted to have tonight, and thank you for everyone giving 10 out of 10 in the chat. I know this is really subjective, and I appreciate.
You're too kind.
But yeah, it's a blast to have this moment, and I love all this imperfection because it's so unique. To have us brought together here, and the luck to keep in touch with the music community and the people innovating in the blockchain, being able to witness all that, and bring your little 2 cents on the table to push some more ideas. I know we both three do that, and on our various connections, and I see that it's fruitful, that after a year a lot of our ideas were spread around and actually manifested in various form, and I mean that's an honor. I don't know how you feel about this, Digital, and like, what's your sentiment on the the feeling the metaverse brings you or reflects at you, like on a personal level? I'm curious about it.
Yeah, man. Like, I guess for me and maybe a lot of other people, the metaverse is really like an escape, right? Especially given
Mm,
last year and the current like state of the world, right? With everybody being home for the most part, and this idea of escapism, it's
yeah,
another avenue besides drinking, besides drugs, besides
yeah, I feel that.
movies
Mm,
and video games. You have this new world. You have this opportunity to build and help contribute to this new reality, in which you can benefit not only emotionally by having these connections with people in this shared space, but also financially. Like if you're able to tokenize certain things, or there's people who are virtual real estate developers now. Like everybody, like conceptually 5, 6, 7 years ago, I would have never thought that is an actual, that's a job title. Like you can
mm-hmm.
hire folks to go build in these virtual worlds for you. And so for me, I'm super enthusiastic and excited about the metaverse and what's happened, and also the possibilities in the future. I think it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, obviously. So yeah, if you're early, I think there's opportunities to invest and to make a good return as more of the world sort of wakes up to this technology. And yeah, I think now is the right time and the right place to be.
Yeah, it feels
Definitely
so.
feel that.
Mhm. And it's a blessing for the soul to have this opportunity to escape, like you say, because of course we've seen how the NFT and metaverse can be addictive, and we don't have, the perspective to see how impactful it can be as well, to dive a little bit too much or too close to, to the fire, because we know the technology is, can be bad at some point on a mental health or in different aspects. But and the metaverse will definitely have his impact on that. But at the same time, I don't know right now if I don't prefer, escape in that addiction more than, like you said, alcohol or drugs or the depression. I mean, I think definitely, personally, for me, that it was an escape as well, but not only because if there was no world situation out there, I think I would have dived into it pretty much at the same level because of the passion and especially the answer to the music industry. But it's all tied together. I mean, the problem with the music industry is tied to at some aspects to the situation today. So I don't blame anything. It's just I know that I would have get myself involved pretty much as I do today, even if it wasn't to escape something. But it's more like today I don't even think about how I escaped the situation. I just did it, and I don't think about the escape aspect of it as such. But I realize it is like the major component that preserves me from, having to focus too much on what's happening outside, and at the same time seeing the energy from everyone, um, being so connected, so righteous into the community is definitely a blessing, because that's what I was as well looking for in the real world, in the music industry, that I didn't found a lot. Let's be honest, and to me, I found it interesting that this trust layer can enable the collaboration as much as we already proved that it can. And we know it's not perfect yet with all the splits, and so we can only imagine today how great it will be if, you just create an NFT with 20 people, you just put 20 addresses, and then all the royalties goes on for years, and no one has to deal with the administration. And so I'm definitely excited to just keep my head down until we get there. And then that's when I think I will start to, really enjoy making music and maybe go outside, unplug from the metaverse a little bit for just focusing on real life and creation, because music creation isn't about the digital world only, and far from it. It can inspire it, but it cannot resume it. So every producer or musician has to be inspired by life in general. But these concerns about how to deal the business, how to manage the business, is definitely something to help, or what kept me here. I mean, and avoid me feeling that I was escaping something.
It's like a game, right? I kind of liken it to that. I mean, I think clearly this is where everything is going, VR and it's gamifying the world essentially. Through the chat and the frenzy here, man. You're dropping tokens in the chat. What's going on?
I just for some reason was like, hey, fuck it, I'm gonna just be a wild man and just drop a little bit of mine and just tease the token. I mean, shit, why not? And this is, it's a little shout out to everybody in the chat who's here right now. I appreciate everybody that sticks around and vibes with us for these fucking 2.5 hours where we just chat about whatever. Yeah, I just want to start giving it out to the right people, and and if you're in here right now, I definitely consider you one of the right peoples. So, yeah, man, it's good stuff. Good stuff.
Tease the token.
Say that again.
No, you said tease the token. I'm repeating what you said. I kind of like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got to get it implemented in the tip bot thing, but
well, I'm giving back my whale I accumulated on Discord since I'm here, and it's just a pleasure. I think in my head it's meant to be redistributed here. So thank you for everyone in the chat and Token Smart for bearing with us. We try to sharp our minds the best against winds and storms. And thanks, go collect the My token and the U token, because there we'll have some great utility very soon over the next year. Look forward to this. And what do you feel, guys? Do you want to continue to talk a little bit, or shall we close the show to 2.5 hours right now? I don't know. Let me know.
What are you guys vibing? What are you guys vibing for? What'd you say?
I need to get something to eat personally.
Bro, I feel that.
I need some food.
That's pretty much what happens at the end of the shows. We just end up getting really hungry.
That was exactly that.
There is some. If you're interested at all in Audius, though, there is an Audius Clubhouse chat at 9 o'clock. Not here though. It's on Clubhouse.
And let's do some Clubhouse vibes soon as well. I don't know what you think about it, Connie. I talked about it to Mai. That if we don't have Clubhouse, we don't need Clubhouse to do Clubhouse. That's my thought of the week as well. And so we could definitely do some show sometime with 10 people talking all together here on the show. 10 artists, or I don't know what the format would be, but I think it would be interesting to try that when it comes to the music economy, community, whatever.
Yeah, I would be down for that. I've not really used Clubhouse too much, so I don't know if they suffer from the same sort of like audio technical issues. I kind of feel like they don't, so maybe Clubhouse might be a good look.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm open to doing it.
And you tried the Twitter version of Clubhouse, right?
This is Twitter Spaces. It's pretty slick. I like it. Like I wanted to hurry up and launch already so I can use it. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And is it running right now? Because I haven't heard much or looked at it a lot, but
they haven't actually rolled the product out to the masses just yet. They're slowly doing it. I think they're adding 1,000 people a day who actually have access to it. It's not ready for prime time just yet. They're still testing. And so I happened to see a tweet where they were saying that they were live, and if you just happened to be on your phone at that time, you could hop in to try out the Spaces feature. And so that's what I did, and it was pretty cool, man. I didn't know what to compare it to because I had not used Clubhouse at that time. But since then, I've used Clubhouse, which is clearly it's more built out and it's solely focused on that experience, where Twitter has a lot more going on.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like what I saw from Twitter, so I'm excited for it.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So thank you for this moment. That was really unique, and I think we will let everyone go have some food. I'm going for a walk. And that was a blast to talk all three together. And we definitely have stuff coming up for the following month. Things that are worth looking to. I think we will hear about it, I guess. And yeah, I'm very excited. And again, thank you for all your kindness and your time, letting us follow your path and build together. So yeah, I'm very excited to see and unveil all the projects that are currently going on. And yeah, so thank you.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, thanks.
No doubt. Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
For sure. And be sure to stay tuned for more from Connie. I know that there's a lot coming. Of course, this Friday, the track. And then yeah, plenty more to come. But it's very exciting to have you on the show. And then not to mention everything else that's coming from everybody. So good stuff.
Yeah, that was a blast. And shout out to the Token Smart community as well. Sorry.
Shout out Token Smart.
Yeah.
Shout out to the chat, man. The chat is awesome.
Yeah, the chat is a blast. Thank you everyone for staying here. So we didn't had much visual to showcase this week, so it was pretty much an audio episode, and I feel already that I will have a bit of editing, making it smoother, but it's all okay. And yeah, thank you for being with us this week again. Shout out to the community. The music economy is coming. We here. And thank you, Connie. Thank you, Mai. And I wish everyone a good week. Stay peace, stay balanced. And yeah, let's keep grinding for more greatness. And let's close this MightyMai episode 10. And yeah, see you. We'll play again the Staking track, collaboration between Connie Digital and Maiworld, to be released this Friday on Audius and on April 5th on Maker's Place. So make sure you grab your copy. And yeah, let's go, everyone. I give you all my force.
Right on.
And goodbye.
See ya.
See you.
Bye-bye.
You see a man like me, man, I'm out of control. Won't do what I'm told, I'm doing the most. Back from the living, I'm killing them dead, leaving them red. The message, I got it, I heard what you said, but I don't care no more, nigga. Open the door, I won't knock no more, jigger. Open the door, bang, I'm here to do things. Run it like Hussein Bolt, killing the game, the only way to promote. You see a man like me, man, I'm out of control. Won't do what I'm told, I'm doing the most. Skirt, I'm on the road in beast mode, I need dough. I bake it and break bread with you too, invest in me like I invest in you, yeah. I'm pulling up, I'm in the vestibule, getting money round here, staking tokens, yeah, it's sunny round here, smoke is potent, and it's gully down here, I thought I told him, don't act funny round here unless you hold it, getting money round here, staking tokens, yeah, it's sunny round here, smoke is potent, and it's gully down here, I thought I told him, don't act funny round here unless you hold it, big visions, big missions, I'm big business, ayy, let's get it, meal tickets with big digits, oh, listen, no jigger, no big pimpin', ayy, ambition, much greater than opposition, whoa, it's my world, digital my world, yeah, 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 word is bond, homie, I got the fire on me, tell the truth, don't go lying on me, yeah, word is bond, homie, I got the fire on me, tell the truth, don't go lying on me, getting money round here, staking tokens, yeah, it's sunny round here, smoke is potent, and it's gully down here, I thought I told him, don't act funny round here unless you hold it, getting money round here, staking tokens, yeah, it's sunny round here, smoke is potent, and it's gully down here, I thought I told him, don't act funny round here unless you hold it.
We out.